I've been a Jiu Jitsu S&C coach for the last 5 years, and I've coached hundreds of Jiu Jitsu athletes both in person and online. Here's the 5 most important things that I've learned over the last couple of years. Number 1 is take a minimum effective dose approach. When we're trying to build out our training for strength and conditioning, we don't want to be going in and taking an approach of trying to pack a huge amount of volume into the training week. We want to be taking a minimum effective dose approach. What is the minimum that I can do in the gym to move the needle, to make myself stronger, and to advance my training week on week in a progressive sense without adding so much volume that I'm going to detract from my jiu-jitsu, because ultimately getting better at grappling is the goal. So if we're doing so much volume in our week when it comes to all of our strength and conditioning, that this is then undermining our ability to get our grappling work done. This is very much the wrong idea, and it should be all the way on the other end of the scale, where we're doing it the minimum that we can in an effort to get better and move the week forward, so that whatever we don't spend on our lifting weights and on our physical preparation, we have all that extra energy then to spend on jiu-jitsu. That being the main goal. Number 2 is kind of 2 points rolled into one, but train your neck and your lower back. I find that those are 2 of the most vulnerable areas that people just generally don't train, and they're the sort of thing that, because people don't train them, you can get a huge return on very minimal training. So if you were to go in and add neck curls with like a neck harness, as well as some lower back raises in a 45-degree extension or a hyper extension, and you were to just put some volume sets of 12 or 15, and then, in time, some strength sets of 5 would be really nice to be able to hit some heavier numbers on these. But even just in a general sense, to be able to just introduce this into your training, you'll alleviate risk in 2 really common areas for injuries in jiu-jitsu, which is going to be neck and lower back. So anything that can be done to mitigate issues and risk there, happy days. Number 3 is don't deadlift. It might be controversial. Some people are going to disagree with that. I don't care. And I deadlift myself, don't get me wrong, but I've been training for a long time and I know how to deadlift, and I can also grade that approach in the rest of my training. Well, the reason that I make this point to not deadlift is I find that for the average person who just wants to get better at jiu-jitsu, there is no point in doing deadlifts. And I have seen so many people, deadlifts cause them harm and take them off the mats effectively, or hinder their ability to train in the sense that they would want to, because they were trying to arbitrarily pull some number on a deadlift. Sure, who gives a fuck? It's just a lift. Oh, okay, you can pull this much on deadlift. Who gives a fuck? Your back's shot, and now you can't do jiu-jitsu properly. So that's one thing that I would just strongly say, don't deadlift, and try to avoid that pattern at all costs. Next point, number 4, is take your injuries seriously. I talk to people that have had niggling issues for years, or tweaks in joints they've had for years, and they never really deal with that issue. And they always just take an approach of, oh, it'll be fine, I'll train around it, it'll get better over time. It usually won't. And you'll find that a lot of people will just accumulate a lot of these issues until it gets to the point where they make a decision that they don't really want to train anymore, because it's getting to the point that it's just affecting them negatively. And the accumulation of issues is what I find people usually present as an issue for not wanting to train. It's usually not one thing, but it's a number of things stacking together, and they just kind of get overwhelmed with all of these issues that they have let kind of pile up. So I would say just take your injury seriously. All that means is you go see a physiotherapist and you get an actual diagnosis on your injury, get an actual understanding of what's wrong with you. I find that's the biggest barrier that a lot of people present. Actually just getting a diagnosis and understanding what's wrong with you, and then progressively rehabbing that, progressively strength training in the gym to make it stronger, and just taking a professional rehab approach that will be found in a lot of other sports, but for some reason does not seem to be found in jiu-jitsu. And last point is just a minor programming point, but something that I've just found to be really true and always plays out. And whenever I disobey this rule myself, or I disobey this rule with my athletes programming, we always pay the price for it, which is at some stage in the week, you're going to have a lower body key lift for like your hinge or your squat. There's going to be some strength focused key lift in the week. You also at some stage in the week have your hardest sparring session. You might have multiple hard sparring sessions. That's not the point. It's just you will have a hardest sparring session where you get the most from it. Don't put these 2 things near each other. Ideally, keep your lower body key lift strength work away from your hard jiu-jitsu if you can. You'll just find that both of these activities are really fatiguing on both your core, your lumbar region, and issues often present when we put these 2 things together too much. So just as a very specific programming point, don't pair your heavy lower body key lift work, and your hardest jiu-jitsu of the week. Separate these two things. Okay, thank you for watching so far. So I did a couple of these videos in the past, and I'm going to get stuck back into doing more of them in the future. I need to move out of this tiny office that I'm in, so I will be improving that. I'll have a nicer set like behind me and all. But if you watched this far in the video, I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. I'm trying to curse less on YouTube. There's a bit of curse there, so try not to do that. I definitely cursed in this video, but anyway, it's not like I'm getting anything monetized at this point, so it doesn't matter. If you are watching this, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. I hope you learned something from that video and you found it useful. And I'll have some more videos for you soon with some hopefully more useful information, and I won't be messing around like that. I'll get better at YouTube. Yeah, if you are watching this, I hope you're well. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you soon.